Do Better Squad, we are back with another reaction video. I have a story that's developing, ironically, right outside of my hometown of Detroit, Michigan. Let's break this down because there's a few layers to this story. A Detroit man has been arraigned on multiple charges, including assault with intent to delete someone. Mount Clemens, Michigan, which is right outside Detroit, Macomb County prosecutor announced Deshaun Flood, a 37-year-old Detroit man, was arraigned on charges including assault with intent to murder related to an incident that occurred Tuesday, July 29th in Sterling Heights. It is alleged that on Tuesday, July 29th, Flood was waiting for his wife when she arrived at her job at Michigan Rehab Services Pomeroy Living Facility. He approached her and appeared to reach for a shooter in his waistband. She attempted to take cover in a co-worker's vehicle, but he prevented the door from closing and shot at her several times. She and her co-worker exited through the driver's door and ran towards the building. Flood caught his wife and pistol whipped her several times in the head. After the police arrived and took Flood into custody, his wife was taken to the hospital. She was shot several times, but her injuries did not appear to be life-threatening. The co-worker was not injured. On Thursday, July 31st, Flood was arraigned in the 41st A District Court in Sterling Heights, and Magistrate Cloud set a $1 million cash surety bond. So there we have it. A man, for whatever reason, decides to go to his wife's job and almost delete her. And I confirmed this story. We're on the Macomb County's prosecutor's website right now. I confirmed it as well on clickondetroit.com, which is an affiliate of our Channel 4 local news here in Detroit, as well as CBS News. They covered the story as well.
News out of Sterling Heights, where police say a husband shot his wife in her work parking lot. That shooting happened at the Pomeroy Living Center on 15 Mile near DeQuinder. Gino Vici has an update on the victim's condition and the investigation.
This is still a very active scene behind me. Take a look at this. Look at the bullet casing markings on the ground here. Sterling Heights police saying around 8 o'clock this morning they received a 911 call that a woman had been shot in the parking lot here at the Pomeroy Living Center off of 15 Mile near DeQuinder. We're told an employee was shot by her husband in the parking lot. We're told they both lived in the city of Warren and that the husband came up to his wife's employer and shot her several times. Police thankfully were able to respond to the scene within seconds. The wife was rushed to a nearby hospital where she is still alive. Police encountered the husband, who was armed with a revolver, and were able to take him into custody. Here is Captain Mario Bastianelli talking about the moment officers encountered the gunman.
Like I said, our officers were here, very quickly, so which makes all the difference in the world of somebody with a gun and they're actively shooting at people. So this happened to be a targeted incident because it was a domestic situation, but you never know how these things are going to transpire, right? How they're going to work out. Officers show up, you have a guy with a gun, does he go peacefully or does this end up turning into a shootout with our officers? It's a very stressful situation on everybody, including our officers arriving. All in all, a good ending to a bad situation.
Again, we're told the female victim is expected to survive despite being shot several times in the body. And again, her husband has been taken into custody. No word yet on when he could be charged. In Sterling Heights, Gino Vici, CBS News, Detroit.
Have you guys read the report and then saw the video from CBS? As you can see, this is a terrible situation. One would make you think, why would a man do that to his wife? Now, here's what I wanted to say. I want to make this clear. And I'm using the word allegedly. I'm stressing the word allegedly because I found some more information on this story, but I don't know how true it is. I know for a fact that the incident happened. That goes without question. But the next part of the story I'm about to tell you, I really don't have a reliable source on this. I'm just going off some of the things that I see on social media. So if I got this one wrong, I have no problem taking down the video and apologize. And if you don't like it,
sue me. No, don't sue me. That's the opposite of the point that I'm trying to make.
So I got on Facebook, and this was actually where I originally found the story at, but I wanted to go and see if any news stations were actually carrying the story before I even looked into it. And I looked up this Deshaun Flood, and I found a bunch of people sharing the same article. And they all pretty much say the same thing. A Detroit man is accused of showing up at his wife's job in Sterling Heights at an assisted living facility and shooting at her several times. And I saw this point right here from this young lady who shared it. Update. He has been married 9 years and found out all 3 of his children were not his. This is where I'm going allegedly at because Facebook alleges this, and I also found a GoFundMe. And the GoFundMe is saying the same thing. And if I'm wrong, I'll take this down. But let's look at the GoFundMe. And I'll read the article for you. This is from GoFundMe.com. Support the Deacon Deshaun Flood. Lawyer aid needed. So they're only looking for about $6,500. And this is for lawyer fees. Story goes, 10 plus years together, 9 married, only to take your son to the hospital because he's ill with something that passed from the dad's side, to finding out none of the 3 children are yours. He was a stay-at-home dad, going on all the trips, cooking, and making sure home was good while she went to school, worked. Suffering from seizures and mental illness, still putting God first. Most know him as the deacon or preacher. This will make most men do unthinkable things. So 11 days before the incident, he checked himself into a mental facility, and they recommended him to a better place in Chicago. So they released him. So the last sentence says, catching meningitis as a young man caused the seizures, and was told it was a low chance of children because meningitis affected spine. So him having 3 kids was a blessing, he thought. And that's the end of the article. And that was organized by someone named Ramon Flood. I tried to look him up online, look him or her up online, could not find any information. You have a couple people donating, but not really. So that's what I got. Allegedly. The reason this man rode up to his wife's job and intended to delete her with a lot of witnesses around is because that some medical issue was needed with his son, and then therefore during that process, he found out that that wasn't his biological son, which pushed him to DNA test his other children and find out that all 3 of their children were not his. So this story is absolutely crazy.
So he pew-pewed his wife, proceeded to whip her with the pew-pew after finding out the 3 children that they had together were not his. His name is Deshaun Flood. He is from Detroit, a 37-year-old man, and he has been arrested with a bail set at $1 million. Now, according to the report, on July 29th, he showed up to his wife's job. She works at a rehab facility around 8 a.m. I guess the wife kind of knew what was about to happen. I don't know for sure, but she attempted to take cover in a co-worker's vehicle, but he stopped that from happening by preventing her to shut the door. That's when he pew-pewed her several times, then proceeded to whip her with the pew-pew in the head multiple times as well. She was able to get away, and her and that co-worker were able to go to the hospital where she actually survived the attack. Now again, this is a full-on crash out after finding out the 3 children he was fathering with her were not his. She had an affair, and multiple children were born to another man or other men. And this situation has the internet split down the middle. Now, a lot of people are saying this is a valid crash out. Some people are saying it's not. Me personally, I'm not going to go to jail over a woman who's cheated on me. But it is incredibly crazy because in the state of Michigan, I ChatGPT this is according to Michigan law. Even if the wife cheats, and even if it's proven via DNA that the husband is not the biological father, Michigan law still presumes the husband as the legal father if he was married to the mother when the child was conceived or born. So even if she cheated on him and gave birth to another man's child because he married her, he would still be, according to Michigan law, the presumed father. And he would still be responsible for these children if they were to get a divorce. Now, there are a few ways he can challenge this. As you can see, there's a Revocation of Paternity Act that allows a presumed father to ask the court to revoke paternity. And I do think this is a pretty good reason to revoke paternity, of course. You typically have to file within 3 years of the child's birth unless you meet certain expectations, fraud, or mistake of fact, which could be, considering she lied to him, a mistake of the fact. You will likely need a DNA test and demonstrate the mother knowingly deceived you about the child's paternity, which I do think in this case is actually provable. Of course, all of this costs money, so it's a terrible situation either way it goes. Don't get it twisted, she is a victim in regards to this assault, but she's still a terrible wife. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
And let's check out some comments from the video I just played. First one says, I mean, what he did was wrong, but how he felt is justified. Valid crash out, says someone. This is a young lady, says, I'm not saying he was right. I'm saying I understand. The next one says, crazy how women can get money out of a man for wasting their time and energy and youth, but it's not the same when a woman wastes a man's life and time by having him raise and fund kids that aren't his. These women should go to jail for this BS, and the women should have to pay the men back. It's a fair point. What's his GoFundMe? It's coming from a young lady. He had a reason to be mad. The law is wrong. She's wrong. He's the victim. This guy Ken says, people keep playing like jail scares everyone. It doesn't. That's a hell of a point, bro. She scares me, but I get her.
His bond has been set at $1 million. If convicted, he faces up to life in prison. Now, I want to hear from you. Did Deshaun take it too far? Did he crash out emotionally? Or do you feel his reaction, while violent, was understandable, even if not justifiable? What would you do if you found out after nearly a decade of marriage that your children that you've been raising are not biologically yours? Let me know in the comments.
This man snapped the fuck out, bro. And he got $1 million bond. Do I blame him? Hell no, I don't blame him, bro. Cause man, just to find out, man, you raised some goddamn kid that ain't yours. For all these years, you been paying child support and all the hell she been giving you to find out the kids ain't yours. Man, you a snap out too. See, man, y'all females be playing these fucking ass games. Y'all know who y'all want. Y'all be knowing who y'all fucking baby dad is. But it's just you want to pick who could be the special father or the best father of your kid. Then you send a nigga through hell that he got to find out that the kids ain't his. Lay down the motherfucking line. All the drum and the chaos you can gave a motherfucker.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Man, times that he might be wrong, but he's not wrong. That's why they need to make DNA testing mandatory, bro. So motherfuckers avoid all these goddamn issues. And bitches won't be getting their ass shot at work and shit like this. Keep playing the game, do stupid shit, win stupid prizes.
So that's it. That's all I got. My overall thoughts is this. And I guess this is the bigger question to ask everyone, myself, you guys watching this video as well. If it's allegedly true that he found out that those children aren't his, was this a valid crash out? Was it a valid crash out? And this is one of those situations where it's extremely hard to do. It's extremely hard to do, but you have to use logic over emotion. And I get it. I get it. I don't want you to think, oh, Coop, you're trying to be like a robot. Men are allowed to have emotions and feelings, and you're 1000% right. You know what happens before all that, or what should be in the forefront of thinking before all these emotions? Self-preservation. This dude walked up to his wife's job and let the hammer blow like it's a John Wick movie in the middle of the day, nearly deleting her and a co-worker. Am I saying what the wife did was wrong? If this is true, it's not the children? Of course, she's a deplorable human being. And I believe that women should be charged for paternity fraud in situations like this. If they can't get charged criminally, they definitely should have some type of financial obligation, some fine, especially in those cases in which men are paying child support for children who aren't theirs. As bad as this situation is, he's probably lucky that he didn't delete her, because I'm sure his sentence probably be a lot worse. But think about this right now. Now that man don't have freedom. 9 times out of 10, he wasn't going to try to continue a relationship with the 3 children he recently found out were his. You're locked up now, $1 million bond, so you got to drop $100K cash. And what's the likelihood of him beating these charges? I'm not saying he can't. I'm no legal expert. Even at the end of the day, his feelings are valid. Being upset, wanting your wife to feel the pain that she caused you is valid. But at the end of the day, you have to think before you act. And his actions, though some may feel warranted by our laws, not, man. Bottom line is, regardless of the situation, unless it's self-defense, you can't run up on somebody and just try to delete them because they wronged you. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm just telling you what it is. The real people who are hurt by this are the kids. Not his fault, but now those children are going to grow up without a father. Either way, even if he goes to jail or miraculously beats the case, it's an extremely terrible situation. And again, if I find out that these sources aren't true, that we have no proof about the children not being his, I'll take this video down. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong, but it's sad, man. But y'all let me know what you think in the comments. Do you guys think this crash out was valid? Yay or nay? Do better, squad. Ball out. And last thing is this. Fellas, get a DNA test. There's no excuse for 2025 not to have one. We have the technology now. There was times years and years ago where the men simply didn't have the tech and raised whatever baby came out of their wife's womb. There's no excuse for it. I had a DNA test on my son nearly 20 years ago, and that's when you had to send it off by mail. Now you can get that shit done at home, at the privacy of your own crib. There is no reason why any man should be walking around in 2025 that hasn't done a DNA test. And I don't care if you're married. I don't care about your wife getting mad. Some things are more important than your wife being upset, and that's you raising the child that's not yours. Just get it, man. Even if you don't have any doubts whatsoever. I didn't have any doubt about my son either, but still, just get it for your own personal closure, so you know for 100% fact that that's my baby. Peace.